Hi there, welcome back to the channel and to a belated 1-year review of the Skoda Enyaq. Things that I like, things that I don't like, and things that I hope are going to be improved shortly by a new software update that's coming. So today you join me and it's warmed up. It was about 7 degrees this morning, but it's warmed up now to 13.5 degrees. The car is charged to 99.6%, and as you can see from the dashboard, that is giving a range of 236 miles. Now that's one of the first things I don't like about the car. That is the only battery indicator that you can see. There is no percentage display. Now this car is booked in for the version 3 update in around about 2 weeks' time, at which point that will be rectified. So that's one of my pet hates that will be fixed. At the moment, I therefore have to use the OBD2 dongle here, which is plugged in under the dashboard, and an app called EV Notify, and that gives you a lot of useful information. Now, one thing I'm going to try and highlight on today's trip, because we've got a trip of about 300 miles, is the battery temperature. People are always saying that they should have had a faster charge because the battery would have been warm because they've been driving for an hour. So what I'm going to try and do today is show you that even though you may be driving for a while, the car will try and keep the battery in a temperature which I think from memory is around about 13 degrees. It certainly will not warm up to 25, which is where you need it to be to get a good rapid charge at 100 kilowatts. So the two things you need for that are to be round about 15% battery or lower and have the battery up to about 25 degrees. Onto the route planning. You'll have seen this before. I use a better route planner. Oh, sorry, I was already in a better route planner. But what I'm doing today is I am going to Lutterworth. I'm staying in a hotel tonight. A better route planner is linked into the car using the OBD dongle, and it's saying it's 328 miles or 314 miles. This is offering me one charging stop as being the quickest, so I think that's what I'm going to go for. I doubt I will last as long as that. That's actually taking me to Ionity at Blackburn. I'm not going to last that long because it's 12 o'clock already. I'm going to want to stop before then. I'll probably stop around about 1:30, maybe around about T-Bay, and try and get something to eat. So I promise not to just complain about things I don't like about the car, and there's actually a far longer list of things that I do like. One of the best features, in my opinion, in the 14 months I've used this car is the adaptive regen. So the car is currently in D mode. A lot of people like to use B mode, so it automatically applies the strongest level of regen, but I prefer D mode, and then the car automatically decides what is the best level of regen that's needed. So I'm currently approaching a junction that is ahead behind these trees. The car has already detected that there's a junction coming up ahead, 500 meters. That junction is coming up, so the car has put a symbol up on the dashboard warning me that there's a junction coming, and there's a little symbol with a foot lifting off of a pedal with an arrow pointing upwards, warning me to slow down, or warning me to lift off the accelerator. And then I'm not touching the brakes at the moment, but we are slowing down, and I just have to apply a little bit of brake at the very end. So it's a great system, and when you combine it with the travel assist function, which is basically an auto steer and lane keep assist function, when you get onto the motorway, you can basically leave the car pretty much to its own devices. So the system is, I've got travel assist on, and it's now telling me on the dashboard and in the head-up display that there's a bend ahead and I should recommend 50 miles an hour, and the car will slow itself down to 50 and it's steering around that bend. And now it's accelerating again back out of that, back up to 60 miles an hour, which is the speed limit on this road. As I say, it does say in the manual it's designed or recommended only for dual carriageways, but as I'm experiencing here, it's pretty good because I'm not using the brakes, I'm not using the accelerator, my feet are completely relaxed, although they're ready just in case I need to take control, and the car is determining what is the safe speed. I presume based on the mapping data that it has on board in the inbuilt sat-nav. By the way, it's pretty good, although I think I prefer to drive manually on these sorts of roads and leave the automated systems for the motorway.
In 300 yards, turn right.
Unfortunately, the car cannot detect traffic jams around blind bends. So what I had to use there was another one of the car's great features, which is the paddles. There are paddles behind the steering wheel. The left-hand one increases your regen, the left-hand one reduces it, and you've got levels 1, 2 and 3, or 0, 1, 2 and 3 I guess.
Turn right.
And you can quickly adjust your regen using those if the automatic system doesn't react fast enough for you, or you come across something unexpected like a traffic jam there. These are actually so good, and you can quickly get so used to using them that I find myself, I've been driving a number of fossil fuel vehicles recently, and I find myself just naturally reaching behind the steering wheel and trying to press the paddles. They're a great feature. They're an optional extra. I can't remember which pack they're in on this car, but they are so useful, and they really add massively to the driving experience. I really would recommend them. Okay, so much for the positives. Now I'm on the in the M74. I can put on travel assist, let the car do most of the steering, and I can show you a little bit of a couple of features that are not so good. But again, these are going to be fixed quite soon. So first of all, I've got no way of getting trip data while I'm using Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. I'm using a better route planner for my navigation. I could be using Google Maps. I definitely wouldn't, in its current form, be using the Skoda sat-nav, and that means that I'm not in the native Skoda system, so I can't see any trip data. So if I want any trip data, what I need to do is hit the home button, and I've got my screen set up so that I've got the map display, and then I've got the trip data shown there, and I can go since start, long term. So long term, you can see the car's done 3.9. That's only for the last 1,485 miles, because for reasons best known to itself, this resets long term. I think it's every 6,000 miles. It's certainly not, long term as in the length of time I've had the car. And that's since I last charged. So you can see I've done 30 miles so far, and that's 50 minutes, but that's obviously including time I've sat with the ignition on while I was filming the introduction for this video. So there's lots of good data there. However, it means I'm not actually able to have it up at the same time as the sat-nav, or at least my Google Maps or a better route planner. Now this is going to change. I think it's with the 3.1 update. So 3.0 is being rolled out now. That involves fitting a new 12-volt battery to the car, as well as updating some control modules and then installing the software. And what happens with that is that then enables the over-the-air updates. And 3.1, this trip data will be available on the dash, as in the main driver display in front of me. I think they call it the digital cockpit, the little screen in front of the steering wheel. So that will be a massive improvement without having to come out of your Android Auto. I said that I obviously wouldn't be using the Skoda sat-nav. I've done a separate video about this. It's all right as a sat-nav, it's fine. It's actually quite good at being updated in terms of traffic information. However, it's the charging side of things that is pretty shocking on the Skoda system. Again, that is being significantly improved in the 3.0 update. So I'll maybe see how it goes after that, because at the moment what it tends to do is prioritize the nearest charger. So it would ignore the fact that I was going to be passing maybe a 50 kilowatt or a 350 kilowatt charger along my route, and it would direct me to a 7 kilowatt charger because that's closer. Now that makes no sense whatsoever, and at the moment the system's basically unusable. But straight back into a better route planner, so you can flick between the two. It's just a bit of a pain having to do it. As I say, if I weren't on travel assist on a motorway, having to use that screen would be quite distracting, and I basically wouldn't do it. So hopefully when I get the new update, that will all be resolved. So as predicted, it's just 10 minutes short of 2 hours into my trip. It's 10 to 2 in the afternoon. I haven't had any lunch. I'm hungry. The car's got 52% charge, but I am going to have to stop and eat something at Southwaite Services. The decision I've got though is, do I bother charging? I might just stick it on for 5 or 10 minutes. And just add some charge, because as Tesla Beyond would say, always be charging, ABC. And I can see using the What's Up app that there is a charger free here, a Gridserve charger. So I may as well pop it on to charge. So we're arriving here, 52%, and the economy today, I'll have a quick look at the economy in a second, once I've reversed up to the charger. Actually, I don't know if you can hear, the one fault I've had with this car is that there's creaking noise from the steering wheel. So again, that's going to get fixed by Skoda when it goes in for its update in a couple of weeks' time. So yeah, 99 miles, 3.7 miles per kilowatt hour. We're at 52% left. I think it's 52%, yeah. So that's given a range of just over 200 miles, which is not bad at motorway speeds. Okay, so we are charged back up. Something a little interesting here. It's the new MG4 EV has just pulled up. I obviously got here just in time. There's a Vauxhall Corsa EV has just turned up. There's a Tesla Model Y waiting. There's a Hyundai Ioniq waiting. So I've got off the charger to let them in. And now an MG4 EV has turned up, all plastered in MG branding. Anyway, I went inside for long enough to get hold of to work out that there were no sandwiches left in the shop. So grabbed a burger from Burger King and didn't even bother going to the loo, just grabbed the food, wolfed it down, and the car has gone back to 71%. So almost an hour later, I needed a comfort break. So I stopped at Porsche Service Centre in the South Lakes. They've got two 350 kilowatt chargers. Obviously I was at 45%, so the maximum rate of charge I saw here was 53 kilowatts. But in 19 minutes that got me back to 76%. By the time I walked down to the garage, used the facilities, had a look at a lovely old vintage Porsche and walked back up to the car, it was time to go. A better route planner is saying that I should stop at the Ionity chargers in Stafford, as I'll get there with 22%. So actually, if this goes all as planned on here, then I should arrive with a reasonably low state of charge. The battery should be reasonably warm by then. What temperature is it at now? Yeah, the temperature of the battery is now 29.5 degrees. So we've added 8 degrees by using those rapid chargers, or the ultra rapid chargers. That's the way that you get the fastest rate charge, is by doing multiple chargers, I'm afraid. So until Volkswagen decide that the MEB platform is going to get preconditioning, that's what we're stuck with. Okay, so pulling into the Ionity chargers at Stafford for the final charging stop of this trip. There are 3 chargers in use. 2 of them are available, one of them is showing is out of use, and I've not been here before. There's a Starbucks, so I can grab a coffee and nip into the toilet. And where are the chargers? There are the chargers there. So I'm down at 23%, so I won't get a massive charge. Some Ionity staff here trying to fix the charger by the look of it. Yep, that one's in being worked on by Ionity staff. So I'll pull into this one. Battery, I've been doing a bit of yo-yo driving for the last little while. Oh, I'll wash the camera so I can see what I'm doing properly. Don't want to hit that Mercedes. Yeah, so I've been doing a bit of yo-yo driving. I've managed to get the battery back up to between 22 and 26 degrees. That's the minimum and maximum values shown. So let's have a look and see what charge speed we get. I was doing 90 kilowatts, it's now down to 89. That'll do. Not bad considering I'm at 20% or 23%. One other thing, I was thinking about things that I like and don't like about the car. The cup holders in the centre here. Now, I've got a couple of mugs and there's a cup from the Burger King earlier. They work okay, but if you have a water bottle, this is a fairly typical water bottle, these just don't fit. Now what you can do is you can take out this divider, but then you're left with a great big wide opening, and the bottle doesn't really fit into that either. So it makes it wider that way, but not front to back. They are good in the sense that you've got these little lumps in the bottom, and they hold the bottle. If you're trying to open it one-handed, it grips the bottle, which is really, really good, very clever, but they could just do with being a little bit bigger. Anyway, really nitpicking. It does come with this, put it in the right way. It's quite a handy little card holder for your charge cards. Okay, quick update. I have charged for 33 minutes. The charge is now at 80%. In fact, by the time I got inside and actually got to order my coffee, the car was back at 40%, starting at 22. And by the time I'd got close to the end of my coffee, it was at 72%. So it's really good, even though it's not at the full 100 kilowatts. Even with this charging curve, it works absolutely perfectly, and it's not a drama getting a good rapid charge in the time available. Anyway, I'm going to move on because I only needed to go to 38%, so I'm now at 82, I think it is. So it's time to move on and get to my hotel for the night. That's all for this trip. I'll not bother filming the rest of it because, frankly, I'm going to get to my destination, no problem at all. The economy so far, let's have a look. I have been going quite quickly in the last part, so down to 3.6, but that's pretty good for sitting at the speed limit the whole way. Anyway, hopefully that's of some use. I will catch you on the next one.